Okay, so there is the Hero 3 Black, and that works. And take this up and take a look here, get a little closer. Okay, so this is going to be a follow-up video to my initial thoughts and unboxing video for the Feiyu-Tech WG2 gimbal. In this case, another YouTuber had asked me about whether or not it worked with a GoPro Hero 2 is the case of what he has. I don't have a 2, but I have a couple of 3s, so I'm going to try it with GoPro Hero 3 and see how it works. So first up, we know it works with a Hero 6. So here is a Hero 3 Plus Black, and here is a Hero 3 Black. So I'm going to try it with both of these. So first up, actually, I'm going to put a adapter piece on there and set it so it will actually stand up. If you're coming from one of the other gimbals or you're new to this one, this is the slide mechanism right there, and that's how you balance the gimbal and camera once it's mounted. So what we're going to do is just see here. I think pretty sure it's going to fit. So I'm going to start with the Hero 3 Black. I'm going to start by taking the bracket off altogether. Really, I leave it on there just so it's in there, and the screws, I think they'll come out of this, but they don't come out very easily. So they actually, which is nice, because if you're in the field and you take this off, you only got one piece to potentially lose. So here's the camera, mounting it so that the lens is more or less center, or going to be center. Let's turn the camera off. Get the bracket lined up. It looks like it's going to work. Looks like there's enough thread on the screws to make it happen. So I'm just going to kind of start to snug it up, and then I'll fine-tune the placement once I do. Got it seated all the way tight against there. I'm putting pressure on right here and right here with my finger to kind of clamp it in. Next, I'm going to make sure that these screws are more or less aligned, and then kind of finger tighten them down. One thing I don't like about the slots on this thing is they, as you tighten it down, the screws tend to walk the bracket out of alignment, which I don't think it matters a whole lot, but I'd try to keep it as balanced as possible. So that's pretty well balanced, and those are pretty well finger tight. You don't want to over tighten them, just because in theory this doesn't have a lot of vibrations. I'm going to double check the compression against there. It looks like it's good and solid. And the next step is sliding this over till it feels like it's balanced. And it looks to me like I don't know if that's necessarily the correct method, but there, it's pretty well balanced. So now we tighten the gimbal lock down. Should be good. It's not sliding around. Moment of truth, power button's on the side. I'm going to push that right now and see if it works. 1000 to 1000 comes on. I'm going to give it a few seconds to initialize. And it looks like it's working. Alright. Now this thing's really meant to be worn at like this angle, and it works really well there. Okay, so there is the Hero 3 Black, and that works. And take this up and take a look here, get a little closer, and see if I can get it to show the threads right in that area. There's just a little bit of thread. I'd say maybe a millimeter, maybe not, but it's right in there. Actually, probably less than a millimeter. So there's not a whole lot of thread left. So if you have a camera that's narrower than a Hero 3 Black, then you're probably going to have a tough time. Although you could also turn this. You could put some kind of there we go. Put some kind of shim underneath here. That would actually work as well. So if you don't have if your camera's too narrow, you could put something underneath there to compress against it. It's an extra step, but it works. And one comment too, I'm going to put a link to the other YouTuber. His channel is called Trail Peddler. I don't actually know his real name, but here's his channel right there. And one thing I'm going to say is
he's looking at getting this gimbal, and I kind of went the big route. I went with a whole new camera, whole new gimbal this year, which is actually a lot of money. So we all have different budgets and whatnot. The Hero, if you have a Hero 3, to me this is in a bike analogy. If you're looking for a more economical way to go, you could get a new camera. That's a lot more money. But if you went with an original camera, whatever camera you have now, and then with a new gimbal, it's the same thing as getting the choice between a dropper post on your bike or your full suspension. The dropper post is always going to suit you better on a full suspension bike than having a suspension bike and no dropper post. So that's my thought on it. So it's a smart move to make to get your image stabilized if you have a choice between a gimbal and a new camera. This year I had the ability to do both, so I did that. So what I was trying to say is that if you have the choice and you're on a budget between the camera you have and a gimbal, or a new camera and no gimbal, you're probably better off with the camera that you have and a gimbal. The footage is just that much more improved, especially with action sports like mountain biking or rocking babies. Those are my thoughts, and you know what, I'm going to put this on and see what the footage looks like on a Hero 3 with this gimbal, but it seems to be working just fine, so now you know. Final test, I'm going to go ahead and just turn this on, start recording. I'm going to mount this to my chest here. Tighten it down actually a little bit. It needs to be tightened down a little bit first. Now, that's about it. Now you can now see the mess in my work area here. Alright, we're going to run up and down my stairs real quick and see how it does. So audio should be switching to the GoPro as well if you're curious about the sound. So, alright. Run down the stairs. It's not terribly tight, but there it is. Alright, and running back up the stairs. Alright. And that's what the footage looks like on a GoPro Hero 3. So as always, work hard, play hard, and be a big softie when you get home. You can help support the production of these videos by supporting me on Patreon.